So I actually don't have a real deep history with Lego games. Growing up, we always kept a few in the household for the PS2, PS3, that era. I played, I believe, some Harry Potter Lego games growing up and a few of the Indiana Jones games, but it never called out to me, man. I will always gravitate towards, San Andreas, Vice City, Halo, Gears of War, stuff like that. Games like that I always was more keen on playing. But that's not to take nothing from the Lego games, because the few times I did, dib and dab in them, I thought they was all right. Like I said, it was just never for me, man. But I'm a huge Batman fan. So when I seen Lego Batman get announced, I was like, yo, it's probably the only Batman gaming I'm going to get, period. You know what I'm saying? I hope Rocksteady eventually, come out. I would just love a remaster of the Arkham trilogy. I know every game is getting remade and getting remakes nowadays. So I know some people may disagree with that and be like, hey, Nero, you're a part of the problem. Well, you're damn right. Because if I could play Arkham City and Arkham Asylum in native 4K 60, man, I would be extremely happy and I would shut up. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we get some new Batman, game soon, especially in the Arkham universe, or, moving on from that. I don't know how they would approach that going forward. But anyway, seeing Lego Batman, I was like, okay, this looks pretty dope. This looked pretty cool. I was hesitant on it. I was thinking about picking it up. So I went to GameStop, had a few games I knocked out. And, I was like, what, let me grab Lego Batman while I'm in here. I traded in a few games, picked it up for a decent price. So I didn't have to pay the full price for it after the trade in. And I was excited to check it out and play it, man. So, I was actually pleasantly surprised by this game. I do think it does becomes a bit repetitive after a while, man, but just I think it's a lot of content here in this game. So especially if you pick this up down the road, $40-$30 or even lower, or even if you buy it today at full price, I think it's a good amount of content in this game. And it was more in this game than I was expecting. But let's get into the review, man. This your boy NextGenNero. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you enjoy this review. Let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about is the graphics and the gameplay and the overall art design. And for this to be a Lego game, like I said, I wasn't sure what I was expecting when I played this game. I guess that's why I walked away a little, surprised. Like, okay, this was pretty decent. This was a solid package. This was all right. But the game uses Unreal Engine 5. I played on the PS5 Pro. I don't believe it has a dedicated Pro enhanced patch, but it does look beautiful, man. UE5, I was one of the big people that would always criticize this engine and complain about the stutters, complain about just how it was hyped up to oblivion, and then it took pretty much a whole generation for developers to really understand how to optimize it. And the engine has been getting improved behind the scenes as well, so that's probably something that played factor into it as well. But I thought this game was very beautiful, man. Flying around Gotham City, just gliding around, man. It's a few missions and stuff in here. Pretty much the whole game is just paying homage to Batman as a whole. Whether it's the Arkham games or the movies or the many TV shows and animated series and spinoffs. So I really did appreciate that. Some things in music and stuff caught my ears as a Batman fan. Like, oh, I know where that's from. So I thought that was dope. Now, I don't really do spoilers and stuff like that, man. I thought the story and it was okay. It's pretty much just a mix up of a bunch of different dope and memorable moments, and even some not so memorable moments from all of the Batman media. And if you're a Batman fan like myself, I think you'll really enjoy that in this game. I thought that was done well. I thought the pacing was all right. It did tend to feel a little dragged out towards the end, in my humble opinion. It's about 17, 18, close maybe to 20 hours for the campaign, depending on how much side content you do. Probably close to 25 hours or 30 if you wanted to do the platinum, which I'm still not sure if I want to go get. But one thing I did not like that really stood out to me, right? And I thought that if it was one thing that Lego Batman and Legacy or whatever, if it was one thing that I thought this game could have really improved on, that would have took it from a solid 7.5 to a 9 or to an 8.5 for me, is really the voice acting. I know, guys, it's a Lego game, and I think this might be, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, but I think this may be the first, if not one of the first, Lego games that actually have full voice acting support. So I thought that was cool, and I want to tip my hat to that, but I don't know where they found a lot of these voice actors from, man. Especially the characters. Batman himself doesn't sound the best. And, I'm not a super picky guy when it comes to, my heroes being voiced. I mean, I am, but I'm not. I'm a little entitled as a fan. Aren't we all? But I thought Batman wasn't horrible, man. Especially for the Lego and the, like, more, parody, you know, comedy, kiddie aspect of it, I didn't think he was horrible. But I'm gonna be honest, man, I thought every surrounding cast member just, I did not like to hear these guys yapping, and they yap a lot. They talk a lot, you know, outside of the cutscenes. Just, you know, some things get repeated when hopping in cars and, you know, just traveling and you know, doing crimes and stuff like that. I didn't think Catwoman sounded the best. I didn't think Talia, I wasn't a fan of her voice acting at all, man. I'm gonna be honest. Robin and Nightwing, I thought they was pretty on the mid side as well. And like I said, these characters yap a lot. And to me, the worst was definitely Batgirl. I don't know what it is about Batgirl. I don't know if it was the writing, if it was just the voice acting. I think it was a combination of both. And I thought that was just, it was a snooze fest, man. You know, as far as the Bat Squad, you know, as far as his allies, I was kind of let down. Now, when it comes to the villains and everybody else, you know, I thought everybody else was all right. I thought Jim Gordon was all right. I thought, you know, the villains, you know, it's a Lego. So, you know, you got your typical villains, but you got that comedic twist on it and stuff like that. I wasn't a huge fan of Mr. Freeze, his voice, but I still thought overall it was decent. You know, Bane, you know, it was just different from the usuals I've done heard throughout the media. And of course, it's not going to be a one-to-one. But, I, you know, sometimes I didn't even think they tried listening some of the times. And I hate to drag that out, guys. And I just spent probably more time talking about the voice acting than any other aspect. So forgive me about that. But the reason I do that, guys, is because this is not a bad game. Like I said, I thought the pacing at times would drag out. The game can get very repetitive. Thankfully, the game do give you a good option to skip if you want to skip like some of the puzzles or, you know, some of the encounters, because it does get repetitive. It's just the same. That's another, I didn't talk about the combat as well, and this is a good time to talk about it. The combat for me, man, was a letdown, and it takes the Arkham theme combat, but it to me, it dumbs it down way too much. And I understand it's a Lego game, but just doing the same 3-hit combo with Batman for 14, 13 hours, it's very boring, you know. And they do switch that up by bringing in the allies and stuff like that, which I do tip my hat with. You know, like I said, it's cool, but even those people have the same 2-3 hits, man, and it's just 2-3 hits, 3 hits, 3 hits. You know, you build up your bar, you get a finisher, and even the finishers is pretty repetitive. So I felt like they really cheaped out on that aspect, especially for a $70 game. You know, like this is a full price game, and like I said, it's a lot in this package. It's good quality in some aspects. Some other aspects you can tell they took a step back, but I would like you guys to take a step forward in more places than the steps back, because I thought, you know, the emptiness of the city was a step back. I thought the voice acting was a step back, and now we got this this lackluster combat. You know, it just doesn't become fun after a while. They do got, you know, everybody got 2 gadgets and stuff that you can use, which does add a little twist onto it. But, you know, even though I didn't pay full price for this game, it is a $70 game, so that's why I'm judging it at. You know, this stuff comes a lot more digestible if you pick it up for $40, $30, $20, and, you know, 50 and under. Then, you know, it's like, I mean, it is what it is. But when you're talking about a full price game in 2026 in a year this packed, man, that's tough to recommend somebody to be doing the same 2-3 hit combo with Batman over and over and over. So if they would have just did, you know, I would be happy with just switching it up. You know, maybe if you do the same 3-piece combo, maybe end it every time with a different 3rd or 4th hit. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe evolve that and let us, you know, make the combo longer. You know, I don't know. But besides that, man, I thought the game was very fun. I did enjoy driving around. Like I said, no UE5 stutters. It was beautiful. It was pretty fun, man. A lot of activities to do in this game. It has a good accessibility option for, like I said, skipping. So if your hand get tired of smashing that button to do the same exact move, or if you get tired of repeating puzzles and stuff like that, then you can just skip them. But if not, man, it's a lot of package here. It's a lot of gameplay. I definitely recommend checking this out. I do say wait for a sale, maybe $50 and under. Check it out, or if you can get it used for $30 or $40 in a few months, that'd be even better. And even maybe this time next year, $19. Who knows? Games go on sale relatively quick, and depending on how well they do, I did enjoy the game, man. I think if I had to put a number on it, man, solid 7 out of 10, 7.5. If they cleaned up a few things and just put a little more love and attention into just certain aspects of the game, because they did in other aspects, like just the atmosphere of Gotham, the characters like, you know, Joker and just all the other villains. I thought that was all done well. So if you would have got some really good voice acting to go along with this and maybe made Gotham feel a bit more alive, then man, we talking about, hey, you're up there probably with the Arkham trilogy, not as far as like, you know, game comparison, but just as far as the quality and the attention to detail from a Batman video game. But with that being said, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. It's been your guy NextGenNero. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.
Let's take a ride. Want to sit up front?